I've been working with graduate students primarily for so long, most recently, of course, as interim dean of the graduate school. But even before that, I've really been focused a lot on graduate students because of the needs of my department and that kind of thing. And that's been terrific. But I actually miss working with undergraduates, getting to introduce concepts to students when they're still a little bit more fresh in the field. And it doesn't even matter to me that they necessarily study the things that I'm teaching. I just like sharing them with people who are, willing to hear new ideas at that stage. So I'm really excited about that. And also about teaching with a more interdisciplinary focus. A lot of the students in the Honors College, I think the most popular major is biology, if I'm not mistaken, which is which is a pretty far cry from, art history, my expertise. And yet there's a lot of intersections, or at least I'll try and convince people that there are. So my research focuses on, I'm an art historian, and my research focuses on contemporary art and theory, which means really that I focus on the kind of art that people look at and say, anyone could do that. That's crazy. That's not art. But that's actually what makes it so interesting, looking through other people's eyes, trying to understand the world through different people's perspectives. Then my actual research within that field is focusing on how new technologies impact our vision and sort of vice versa. So how new technologies and new ways of seeing are changing us as human beings and what that sort of means for us in the longer haul. My two books have been about that so far, and I'm working on a third one right now. Fall, I'm going to be teaching 2 sections of the new 101. Well, I suppose to people taking it, it won't be new, but I figured I would dive right in and offer something for freshmen. And the course is brand new to me in terms of teaching it, but it's been things I've been thinking about for a long time. It's called The Art and Science of Human Flourishing. So I'm really excited about this, although I probably say that about every class, so you'll have to forgive me, I get effusive. So this course, we're going to be examining perspectives throughout history, but more with leaning more toward the present in the humanities and in the sciences about how people have been cultivating a kind of life of well-being, of flourishing, what makes life worth living, so to speak. And not taking anything for granted. I won't be giving any sort of how-tos or giving anyone any answers. I don't presume to have them, but we'll be looking to develop our own answers by looking at all these various histories and all these various scientific studies. We'll also be working on various practices that throughout the ages people have decided are actually helpful to facilitate sort of a life of meaning. So things like mindfulness practices and sort of experimenting with these various things and seeing if they work for us. So hopefully it will allow students I think it'll be a fantastic way to start your freshman year, really thinking deeply, not just about the little narrow concerns that you'll be working on in all these other classes and all of your other parts of your life, but kind of what's the big picture? Why are you doing any of this? And how can you make sure you and your peers and, society as a whole is actually, to use that word, is flourishing. Gosh, there's so many things one could say. I think one of the most exciting things, actually, you're a good example of this, Lori. Everyone who works there, from the staff to the faculty to, I'm sure I'm forgetting some other sort of, even Renee, who's the main financial sort of administrator for the college, everyone is so enthusiastic and so motivated and so excited to help students, to really get in there and innovate and just care about teaching in a way that, I don't mean to say that this doesn't happen across campus, but I would say that it is respected and encouraged and in Honors College in a way that it may not be as top priority for other parts of campus. So that's sort of a long, elaborate way of saying I just want to be part of that team of people who really care so deeply about creating amazing experiences for these students. Okay, 2 pieces of advice. One is this is directed specifically to the students in the Honors College, because I too went to a sort of a very competitive, high achieving undergraduate institution. And I remember getting there and thinking, these people are really smart. Like, I am not necessarily going to be the top of the class. Like, in fact, by definition, it's very unlikely. And just to have a little humility, a little sense of humor, and just realizing that that's why you came, that's why you want to be with these people. But it can be alarming, I will just say. I remember getting a C on something in, I think it was macroeconomic theory, which whatever serves me right, but and that was the best I could have done, like absolutely the best I could have done. And that was such an unfamiliar feeling. So I would just say, be ready for those experiences, and just take them as they, try not to let that make you question everything, right? Because it wouldn't be any fun if you weren't challenged, but there will be challenges. So that's one thing. And the other one is to be good to each other. To look out for each other and help each other. It's, I think that high school and some sports and some activities really encourage competition in a way that is interesting and can be productive, but it's really not how the real world always works. And helping other people out and being there when someone needs, a hand or a kind of referral, or noticing that someone might be struggling, like they don't understand they don't know what office hours are, or they don't know what, where they're going to get their next meal. Being there, and you don't have to solve everything, but, help find people who can. Just looking out for each other.